It all starts with that direct deposit text message at 5:30 p.m. on a Friday. You sit in your car, staring at your phone screen. Your annual salary has finally broken $65,000, and you should feel proud. But when you log into your mobile banking app, the numbers on the screen hit you like a heavy slap in the face. After deducting the exorbitant rent for your studio apartment, the minimum payment on your credit card bill, and the loan for that mid-range sedan you bought to match your new position, you have exactly $412 left in your account. At this level, your currency of power is your physical labor and your time. You think you are consuming, but in reality, the system is consuming you. That credit card bill you signed with its 18% annual interest rate hasn't just overdrawn your paycheck, it has physically locked away your choices for the next 5 years. In this class, the consumerism trap, inflation, and high-interest debt are invisible, poor taxes. They are meticulously packaged as quality of life, precisely harvesting your every emotional purchase. You suddenly feel suffocated. You realize that if the company announced layoffs next week, you wouldn't survive for 30 days. The game has officially begun. You start to fight back. But the price of cognitive awakening is extreme agony. You cut up that metal credit card with your name engraved on it. You return the car that devoured $600 of your cash flow every month and swap it for the most beat-up, second-hand commuter vehicle. On the weekends, your peers are at chick-craft breweries, discussing the latest electronics and their upcoming luxury vacations in Bali. Meanwhile, you sit in your cramped rental apartment, facing a cold Excel spreadsheet, throwing every spare cent at that $15,000 high-interest debt. Your friends start to distance themselves from you. They think you've become cheap, boring, and don't know how to enjoy life. For the first time, you taste the side effect of class mobility, loneliness. But you also experience a sense of control for the first time. Through the pain of suppressing your desires, you have bought back your baseline of freedom from fear. You are no longer working for the bank's profit statements. You are slowly redeeming your own life's time. You completely break your addiction to consumerism. Your net worth finally crawls out of the glaring negatives to zero, and you begin marching toward your first $100,000. This is the longest, cruelest, and easiest stage to give up on in the entire system. You didn't trade that $30,000 year and bonus for a luxury watch or a flashy European tour. You quietly slipped it into an S&P 500 index fund, VU, and set up an automatic dividend reinvestment plan. Drip. For the next 4 years, you pretend this money doesn't even exist. You begin to understand the operating logic of this world. The wealthy buy assets, the poor buy liabilities, and the middle class buys liabilities they think are assets. Your life is extremely dull. On the 15th of every month, the system automatically transfers 30% of your income into your investment account. You are enduring the immense inertia of the middle class hamster wheel, but you are quietly building your escape pod. Your currency of power has shifted from cheap labor to lethal. Principle, the violent aesthetics of mathematics begin to manifest in your life. Your investment portfolio breaks the $300,000 mark. One ordinary Monday morning, you wake up and glance at your account. Thanks to a positive piece of macroeconomic news over the weekend, your assets have surged by 1.5% in the past 48 hours. $4,500. The money you made while sleeping over the weekend exceeds the after-tax salary you used to earn by painstakingly clocking in for a month and enduring your boss's temper. Your brain is completely rewired. You no longer use price to measure goods. You start using opportunity cost to measure everything. A $1,000 jacket is no longer $1,000 in your eyes. Calculated at an 8% annualized return, it is $2,158 compounded over 10 years. Consumption doesn't just drain your money, it drains your future lifetime. You look at your colleagues in the office, fiercely competing for a few $100s in perfect attendance bonuses, and backstabbing each other for a promotion. And you feel a profound sense of detachment. You are breathing in the same space, but you are no longer in the same dimension. You are no longer satisfied with simple linear accumulation. You begin to use the wealthy's matrix rules to harvest the system. Leveraging your exceptionally high credit score and accumulated principal, you purchase a multifamily property that generates positive cash flow. With a 20% down payment, the bank willingly lends you the remaining 80%. Your tenants pay rent on time every month, covering your mortgage, bearing the property's maintenance costs, and even providing you with extra passive income. You suddenly see through the coldest truth of this capital matrix. Inflation is brutally diluting the bank savings of ordinary people, making them poorer the harder they work. But simultaneously, Inflation is constantly diluting that 30-year fixed-rate debt of yours. Ordinary people fear debt, treating it as a monster, but you use good debt as leverage to exponentially expand your asset empire. Your asset returns begin to snowball exponentially. You aren't just making money, you are using the rules to print money. Your passive income finally intersects and completely surpasses your daily living expenses. Your asset pool steadily provides you with over $120,000 in cash flow every year. Today, you walk into the office of the manager who used to terrify you. You hand in your resignation. There is no emotional outburst, no door slamming, and no complaints about workplace injustice. Just absolute calmness and extreme politeness. You no longer need to trade your life to buy rations for survival. With money, you have bought out all the Mondays to Fridays for the rest of your life. Walking in the 2 p.m. sunlight, looking at the crowds rushing to meetings with furrowed brows, you feel an intense sense of weightlessness, free from the social gravity of the 9 to 5. You are liberated. But with it comes a deeper, unshareable class loneliness. Your currency of power ascends once again, evolving into your asset scale, your tax structuring, and your information asymmetry. In the physical world, you seem to own nothing. There is almost no property under your personal name. Your real estate, stocks, and massive cash reserves are all tightly sealed within limited liability companies, LCS, and irrevocable family trusts. You masterfully employ the buy, borrow, die strategy, exclusive to the wealthy class. When you need a large amount of cash, you would never be foolish enough to sell assets and pay exorbitant capital gains taxes. You use your massive asset vault as collateral to secure a line of credit from the bank at incredibly low interest rates. The effective tax rate you legally pay each year is lower than that of the young man making your latte at the corner coffee shop. Occasionally, you sit at the dinner table with old friends. They passionately complain about rising gas prices, mortgage pressures, high taxes, and terrible bosses. You sit there, smiling and listening, without saying a word. You realize you can no longer participate in these conversations. The cognitive chasm between you has become wider than the gap between species. Financial numbers have completely lost their meaning in your eyes. Your net worth surpassed 8 figures long ago. You stand before the floor-to-ceiling windows of your penthouse, overlooking this massive, capital-driven city. The neon lights flicker beneath your feet like a complex circuit board. There are no survival crises here, no financial anxiety. The acts of striving and saving stopped a long time ago. Here, there's only absolute financial freedom and extreme nihilism. When 99% of the problems in the world can be instantly solved with money, you are forced to confront the remaining 1%. That 1% becomes infinitely huge, heavy, and unsolvable. You begin to spend long hours contemplating the passage of time, the inevitability of death, the meaning of legacy, and the weightlessness brought by this absolute freedom. You are at the very top of the pyramid. The view is magnificent, but it is completely empty. You have thoroughly seen through how this colossal machine named capitalism operates ruthlessly and efficiently. You stand above it, yet you feel a bone, chilling coldness because of it. You no longer need money. What you need is to find your anchor as a human being again, at this nihilistic peak beyond economic laws. On the other side of the city, a 22-year-old young man has just received his first paycheck. He walks into a brightly lit car showroom to celebrate his independence. He signs a car loan with a 9% annual interest rate, spread over 72 months. He strokes the steering wheel of his new car, breathes in the scent of fresh leather, and feels like he is in control of his life. He thinks this is the enjoyment he deserves, and his life is full of hope. He doesn't know what invisible taxes are, what the compound interest trap is, or what a future devoured by debt looks like. He doesn't know that for the next 30 years. He will be running to exhaustion in the very hamster wheel you have already escaped, all for this depreciating piece of metal. But you stand in front of your floor-to-ceiling window, watching the traffic lights blink in the rainy night, silently observing it all. Then, the light turns green. The gears of capital let out a cold, precise sound of engagement, and continue to turn,